Hey there, everybody. It's Saturday. It's the last day of April 30th. It's the last day that I have to wake up and do baseball analysis for everybody. I know a lot of you are going to obviously be wanting baseball information, and the picks are winning. And when you retroactively adjust yesterday a little bit, if we look at yesterday real quick, I was able to get it this good. But San Francisco and St. Louis did lose, cost me everything. I had everything on huge parlays with San Francisco as an anchor, and they got blown out by the Nationals. I'm a Nats fan too. I'm such a masochist. Anyway, so I actually lost yesterday, even though 7 out of the 9 picks won. I did hear from Katrina, my girl Katrina in Vegas. She made some money betting a bunch of round robins with that. So hopefully you did well. Dodgers win, Padres win, Atlanta wins. Sad. Yankees win. Mets no-hitter combined. Colorado, Cincinnati's so bad, Colorado wins. And the Angels changed their pitcher on us at the last minute, but it's still predicted Jimmy Herget would win. And the Angels win, I think, 5-1. So, and then here you have the AAA pitcher on Baltimore, does not win, but at least we knew it was a AAA guy making his first start. And you can flip some stuff around when you work with your pitcher stats last year, because these picks were not winners. Most of these were flipped in the 2022 version when you look at yesterday. But anyway, we'll talk about today, because it's just, I hope you did well yesterday, and there's definitely knowledge coming from this. So I've already taken a look at it, and I know, yes, people are going to be wanting it, and you're going to want to update it, you're going to have questions, because if it keeps winning, you're going to be on me. There's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much time I want to say that I spent analyzing sports games throughout my life. So I have to balance out life in a lot of ways. So working on other projects. So people who are going to be asking me questions and who are like, where's the subscription and why can't I buy this from you anymore? I'm just a human being who tries to automate this procedure and teach it to you. But if you need special help or you need me to do something for a day or something, I understand if you're making a lot of money with this and you want to contact me because you need it for that, just understand you also need to compensate me for that. And I'm not just going to turn around and drop everything for $25 and do stuff. I'm not going to do that. So, but I always respond by email. A lot of you have emailed me and probably get like a flippant or quick response from me where I'm like angry and I don't want to talk to you. I'm responding to everybody, and that's just kind of how I do it. It's nothing personal. I'm terrible at email and texting. But whatever. Point is, I'll try to help where I can, but it is just not a focus. I'll pick it back up later in the year as there are more stats in here, and you get into after trade deadlines in August and September and stuff. It actually works really well. I'm sure I'll come back then because you'll have football season starting and a bunch of other things, but it's summer. I mean, come on. All right, so last day. Let's go out with a bang today here. Let's talk about pitching stats and what to do here. So in the beginning of the year, when you see weird stuff like really high ERAs and short numbers of inning pitch, like here's Vince Velasquez, 0-2, terrible WHIP, terrible ERA. He's not having a good run in 2022 right now. How about we give him the benefit of the doubt and move him back to last year's stats a little more reasonable? You can see he's still got a high WHIP and ERA, but it's at least just a little more reasonable. So you're going to want to do that here in the beginning, and you're going to want to try to eliminate extremes. For example, yesterday, Dylan Bundy had an amazing season so far for Minnesota yesterday, and unless you changed him to 2021 stats yesterday, Dylan Bundy, you couldn't get this Minnesota-Tampa Bay game correct and have Tampa Bay win it. So you want to eliminate extremes, not necessarily just bad extremes, but extremes that you see everywhere. And you also see kind of how it adjusts power, margin, pick rank, and everything else when you change this number over here. So do we want to try to eliminate Yonadon? I don't think we can. Yeah, we have to kind of leave him, because I think he was a AAA pitcher last year. Other extremes that I saw, and actually let's just go game by game and then we'll refresh, because that'll kind of be a good way to do this. All right? So Arizona and St. Louis starting off at 215. Okay? I'm not ever going to care about over-unders because I don't ever bet an over-under again in my life. So These stats are looking okay. A very, very nice comparison here for 2022. Arizona, a team that upset St. Louis yesterday. Here you can see the margin's actually pretty low. It's only a 5% margin. Super low scoring game. What happens if we flip these guys to 2021? You get a little more scoring out of St. Louis, a little more scoring out of both of these teams, but St. Louis still wins. But it's a low margin, and I like that the algorithm's putting it as a 12th pick because it seems to be right around that range. Okay, so it's an okay pick, but it's not a super solid one. Houston and Toronto. Also, it's showing very close pick ranks, very close margins. High scoring game. Bad whip for Barrios. What about last year? It slightly gives it to Toronto and slightly flips the score. So what does that say? It says pick 'em game. Can't count on either one of those, so it's a no pick from the algorithm. But it does think there's going to be runs there. I don't want to talk about runs. We don't bet on runs anyway. Angels and White Sox. So here's where you see that terrible Vince Velasquez. This game could be awful, awful. Big blowout for the Angels. Is Syndergaard going again, or are they pulling him at the last minute? What's happening here? I guess we say whoever they put in is probably going to be better than Vince Velasquez. You can see that the Angels are streaking nicely and the White Sox are not. So even though the White Sox are home, underdog line, wow. So that's definitely a pick, right? Algorithm says go for it. Washington and San Francisco. San Francisco, heartbreaker last night. I lose all my parlays on San Francisco. But they're still a very good team. Their pitching did not hold up yesterday. Says they crush it today against Yonadon. You can't change Yonadon's stats to last year. You can change Logan Webb. Doesn't do much in the game. Bad line, but at home thinks that they're not going to blow another one to Washington. But if you're one of those people who believes in, bad streaks come in 2s or 3s or whatever, maybe Washington wakes up. It's a bad line, so that's a reason to stay away from it. But I think it's on our round robin and our parlay because it is... it's a high margin here. So it is. Cleveland and Oakland. This was a game that flipped around and went crazy yesterday. It was a 9-8 game that had more lead changes than a Indy 500 race. Today, you've got a slight margin for Cleveland. And when you go to 2021 stats, the margin increases slightly for Cleveland. The Guardians trying to guard another victory with the Beebs. Bieber in net. Bieber in net. He's not a goaltender. He's a pitcher. Cole Irwin. All right, so it's not a round robin pick of the day because it's too low down on that list. You'll see when we refresh. But it is who's supposed to win according to the algorithm. Minnesota and Tampa Bay. You've got a margin for Tampa Bay here, 9th pick of the day. Very limited stats for Chris Archer. This is one where only 11 innings. Let's see what he was last year. A little worse. Pushes this a little more for Tampa Bay. If you put Tampa Bay 2021 stats for Shane McClanahan, you're still favoring Tampa Bay. So there's consistency all around at a margin between 10% and 11%, 12% in favor of Tampa Bay. The line is not great, but the pick is consistent. So tough call there, but it's very close, but it is erring on the side of Tampa Bay. Seattle and Miami. The Marlins win yesterday. This was a tough game to predict. Algorithm likes Seattle a little more than you think. Gives them a big lineup factor. We don't have confirmed lineups in for a lot of these games, by the way. Miami playing pretty good ball. Jesus Lazardo going for Miami. Es posible I got ganador. I don't know. But there's a negative 9% margin. So it wants Seattle under 2022 stats. Pero under 2022, 2021, el año pasado, right? Still Seattle. I'm not in theirs. ¿Por qué? Well, it's one of those where I want to disagree with the algorithm, but never ever listen to me. And you're getting an underdog line. It's one of those where Seattle plus 1.5, which is also not a great line. Very tough game. Margins, it wants them. It went even further in the favor, right? With 2021. Yeah, 17% margin. So it's not giving the respect to Miami, but tough game there. maybe as a secondary type round robin pick, but it's not on the primary list. San Diego and Pittsburgh, 28% margin here. JT Brubaker, really bad stats for 2022. Let's give him 2021. A little bit better. Game's still heavily in favor of San Diego. San Diego, 5 picks. San Diego been real solid lately. Manea's got a lot of vowels in his name. He wants to throw some K's in there. Add some consonants today. So San Diego's a pretty good pick there. Next, Boston and Baltimore. You got very limited pitching stats for Spencer Watkins. ERA okay, though. How about last year? Wow, last year had a lot of issues. So you've got potential trouble for Baltimore pitching, which makes it more in favor of Boston. Line not good. Score really close. Wow, it's close in 2 out of the 4 scenarios, I think. So you can see it's the 13th pick and the margin's kind of slight and the line is not great. So it's a tougher pick that Boston probably wins, but it's not going on the big round robin. Atlanta and Texas. Bryce Elder going. Everyone's kind of limited. It likes Atlanta. Atlanta picking it up a little bit after a kind of a slow start, but getting some people back. You can't have 2021 pitching stats for Bryce Elder. You can for Dane Dunning, and it still favors Atlanta in a 5-3-ish type game. So, Atlanta's lineup factor. Yeah, Texas not a very good team. One of the worst this year. Atlanta, defending champion in both scenarios, 7 pick of the day, minus 108, extremely reasonable line. So that is going on the round robin. Philly and the Mets. Mets combined no-hitter yesterday. Okay, super limited stats for Taijuan Walker. Only 2 innings. Got to use last season then. That makes the game flip. And that is what caused me pause when I was looking at this earlier. When you do a linear 2021 to 2021 stat, you still have the Mets win at minus 120, but you don't in this scenario, which means Kyle Gibson's actually pitching better so far this season and getting wins. And it pushes this margin to Philly's favor. So it's a toss-up game. And I really should leave it in this setup. 69 innings compared to 23. So you won't overweight. Remember, stay away from the extremes. Don't overweight the beginning of this good season for Kyle Gibson. And give it to the Mets at a lower margin because that's probably the outcome. But it's, as you can see, it puts them down at the 12th pick. So it's not going on the round robin. Yankees in Kansas City. Number 4 pick of the day. Garrett Cole going. Carlos Hernandez, limited and really bad stats. Going to move him to 2021. Better. Yankees only win this game 4-5 to 2-ish instead. Garrett Cole last year would create a similar type game, even a little more in favor of the Yankees. So the Yankees at minus 220 on the road. Do you take a minus 1.5? It said they cover the minus 1.5 in both instances. And if you get a Carlos Hernandez of this season, they really cover it. And they've been hitting. So Yankees minus 1.5 because I'm going to stay away from this minus 220 because they're on the road. We're going for it on the round robin. We'll see if it bites us in the butt and they only win by 1, but it's worth it because all scenarios say that it is good. So that's going on there. Chicago Cubs and Milwaukee. Cubs are looking brutal. Says Milwaukee runs over them at a 14% margin. Stats limited and really bad, pretty bad for Justin Steele. Let's go 2021. A little better, brings it down, brings the score down a little bit when you look at last year's stats. This is a dome. I thought it was in Chicago. It's not. It's in Milwaukee. It's a dome. So Milwaukee is wanting to go on here. It's a pick. It's the 8th pick. It wins in all scenarios by a couple runs. So it's only minus 167 at home, so it's going on there. And Cincinnati and Colorado, how can you not go up against Connor Overton, AAA pitcher, played a little bit last year, bad stats last year. I didn't put his AAA stats for this year. It's a run over this game, Colorado win. If you go with Chad Kuhl last year, it's more runs, but it's fine. So minus 140, Colorado's going on the list. Detroit and the Dodgers, number 1 pick. Kershaw going. Bo Beesky, do you have any last year stats, Bo? You don't. You got a really limited Detroit pitcher. Minus 350 because Kershaw is throwing half-perfect games. Don't know what you do with that line here. It's a super late game, right? It's at 10:10. I don't know what to do there at all because of the line. So let's refresh and let's talk about what the picks are. So refreshed after I adjusted for 2021 stats where I thought it was necessary or appropriate to use. The Dodgers are on top. The line is unbettable. We're going to open up a slicer for team so that we can... Whoops, not that. Where's the team? Team right here. Okay? So we got a slicer for team, and in the slicer for team, we're going to remove and add, or remove and click teams that we are playing or not playing. All right? You can change the colors of these things, all kinds of stuff you can do with slicers. It's a lot of fun. All right, so teams that aren't playing today, we're going to hide items in this thing so we don't have to look at them. So what we've got here is, I don't know what to do in the Dodgers game because of the line. Technically, it says take them to win because they win. It's just a horrible line. Do you take them minus? It says they crush it in terms of runs. Teams at home minus 1.5. I'll say do this because it's just the algorithm is, I don't know. Let's leave them on. To win is fine. They're supposed to win. So if you believe in the algorithm, you take them to win even though the line is bad. Okay, that's okay. Next, the Colorado is on there. The Angels are on there. San Diego is on there. San Francisco, I think it said stay away, right? I thought I said stay away. Let me double check that. Or I didn't. Where is that game? It's right here. Why would I have said stay away? No, it says 8-2. No, I think I said it's okay. Because of Adon Stott, yeah. Logan Webb, okay. Yeah, no, they're on there. Yankees were on there minus 1.5, remember? Minus 1.5 to you could just do this, but I would say minus 1.5. Atlanta's on there. Milwaukee's on there. And then this is where it got all fuzzy, right? Yep. All this was fuzzy. Yep. That's right. So you have this. 8 picks. And one of them's at a horrible line that I guess you could try to take minus 1.5, but they're home, so I'm scared. This one needs to be at minus 1.5 because it said so and the line's bad. I'm scared of this stuff. So there's picks on here that are also like good lines, which is Colorado, Angels, Milwaukee's okay, Atlanta's okay. Yeah, these are really comparatively San Diego too, I think. And Milwaukee, right? These are actually really good lines with those 5. So you could split up these things 4 and 4 or something, but these are the 8 after all that analysis. So today it was a Saturday 8. Good luck, everyone. If you want to see more videos and you want me to do this, you can send me money for this. I'll put the price up. I'll still sell a daily copy for $100. You go there and you get it. I'll end up doing it whenever anybody purchases one for the day if I haven't done it, because I can obviously prepare it and send it out, but I'm not doing the email list. I'm not updating Google Sheet. I'm not doing any of that because that's seriously just way, way too much for every day for one person along with everything else. All right, so good luck. May all the 8 be winning.